Sometime at the back end of last year, one person in China began to feel ill. It may have seemed like there was nothing unusual about it. It would be amazing if a year went by without you or I suffering from one form of cold or bug. But I strongly suspect that this person had no idea when they first began to feel ill that by contracting the illness, he or she would completely change the course of world history. The search is on to identify who was patient zero, the first human to have contracted what we now call COVID-19. The current thinking is this person probably caught it from an animal, possibly a bat. The South China Morning Post published a report suggesting that a 55-year-old from Hubei province in China could have been this patient zero, perhaps as early as November the 17th. The Apostle Paul spoke in a similar way about two other people who were the start of what could perhaps be called contagious events, each of even greater global impact than COVID-19. I would like to read 3 verses from Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verses 21 to 23. Paul writes, "For since death came through a man, the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man. For as in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive. But each in turn, Christ the first fruits, then when he comes, those who belong to him." Paul refers first to Adam, the name the Bible gives to the first man. For as in Adam all die, he says. If you know the account of Adam and Eve in Genesis chapters 1 to 3, you'll know that it describes that God creates a world which is very good. But then things go badly wrong, as Adam fails to trust God and eats the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And as a result, his relationship with God is seriously damaged. Somehow that failure, Paul says, affects us all, for as in Adam all die. Don't ask me to explain that in too much detail. Even now it's something of a mystery to me. But however we understand the account of Adam and Eve, there is a profound truth here. I too, like everyone else, am infected with the disease, if I can call it that, of failing to trust God and of thinking I know better than God how I should live. Well, if the first world-changing event that Paul refers to, the fall of Adam, had a more devastating effect than the first case of COVID-19, the second world-changing event is even more significant than what creating an effective vaccine against COVID-19 would be to the world today. Paul explains, "For since death came through a man, the resurrection of the dead also comes through a man. For as in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive." If Adam was in a negative sense like patient zero, Jesus Christ is in an amazing positive way, a bit like Edward Jenner, the British scientist who 200 years ago played a key pioneering role in the development of the whole idea of vaccination. When God raised Jesus Christ from the dead nearly 2,000 years ago, it didn't just prove that Jesus is who he claimed to be, but it also profoundly changed the attitude of his followers to what so many people fear: death. It's been called the ultimate statistic. 1 in 1 die. We don't like to talk about it. We don't usually even like to think about it. But perhaps the current crisis reminds us that it may not be as far away as perhaps we thought or hoped. And whilst none of us can avoid physical death, Christians know that it's not the end. Paul reminds his readers that the resurrection of Jesus had a knock-on, if you like, contagious effect on all who put their trust in Jesus, all who belong to him. For as in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive. Each in turn, Christ the first fruits, then when he comes, those who belong to him. The resurrection of Jesus is like the beginning of a new spring, the first fruits, indicating that we can have confidence that summer is coming, when all who belong to him, will also be raised to new life with God. I don't look forward to the process of dying, whenever it may be for me. Like most people, I'm concerned about the effect my death may have on those I leave behind. But one thing I know, I don't need to fear death for my own sake, because Jesus promised new life, resurrection life, where there's no sickness or dying or pain. That is good news. When a safe and effective vaccine for COVID-19 is developed, that will be good news. And I pray that a vaccine is manufactured and distributed as quickly as possible. And in a much greater way, I pray that the message of forgiveness and new life through Jesus Christ is distributed as quickly as possible. And while you may need a medical professional to distribute a vaccine, you don't need to be a medical professional to distribute the message of hope that Jesus Christ brings. So I pray that God would strengthen you in your faith personally, and that even through you, the message may be distributed. If this short video has helped you, why not tell someone else about it? Or if you want to find out more for yourself about what it means to belong to Christ and be confident of this new life, I suggest you watch the Christianity Explored films, which are available free on YouTube till the end of April. Just search for Christianity Explored Ministries on YouTube. Thank you, and may God bless you.